Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm your host, Tom Pollard, beaming out to you from the sunny Sunshine Coast here in Australia. Joined today by Lyndsay Phillips. Lyndsay, g'day from down under. Where are you hanging out?
Howdy, howdy. I'm up in Canada, just north of Toronto.
North of Toronto. What is north of Toronto? I thought that was like, the Arctic.
It feels like the Arctic right now, but no, it's just like in Ontario, so southern Ontario.
Oh, yeah. And there's like a great outdoors area?
Yep. Yeah, we're in rural area, so I guess you could think of it as like north of New York. That might help everyone.
Lots of nice walks around lakes or rivers and forests or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, we got the Great Lakes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that'll be a big
cottage
walk.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Nice. And do you get across the border very often?
Not in many years, but I used to. My brother lives in the States, and of course, I'll podcast and have spoken there and all those wonderful conferences. But yes,
Okay.
COVID kind of
I,
set
I,
us back a little bit,
I'm just so tempted to get your political opinions, but we better not because it's only meant to be a 7-minute podcast and that could
right?
take a few hours. So, folks, I was introduced to Lyndsay maybe a month or two back, and she does something that I think, well, I know it's generated the strategy you're going to hear about has generated millions of dollars for me and my clients, and I think it's kind of like one of the world's best kept secrets in marketing, Lyndsay. It's such a clever strategy, but it's a two-stepper, maybe even a three-stepper. And a lot of people are after chasing that sale. They just want to talk to the client. But there's
Mhm.
so much more power in talking to the person who's got the clients because there's this multiplier effect. Instead of one-to-one, suddenly now you're going through a conduit and you're potentially reaching many, many people in the same amount of time, very, very close to the same amount of time that you would have just reached run. So let me give you Lyndsay's bio, and that might sort of unpack some of what I just said. She's the host of Leverage Your Podcast Show, and it's a big clue right there. Also of Smooth Business Podcasting. She helps pretty much all podcasters really scale and leverage, repurpose episodes to create this authority building content that builds your brand, puts you at the forefront of the prospects' minds when they're seeking a solution that you can help them with. So looking forward to getting this out and unpacking it all in the next 7 minutes, Lyndsay. Title of this interview is How to Get More Leads by Leveraging Your Podcast Guest Interviews. Let's kick off. Your time starts now. Question number one is, who is your ideal client?
I would say authors, speakers, entrepreneurs that have a business model, whether they're coaching programs, courses, and they're guesting on podcasts to expand their authority, expand their reach, and get more leads and clients.
It's just an incredibly efficient and normally very effective way of doing that. But well, let's talk about, before I get that, I'm getting ahead of myself, getting too excited. How would you define the problem you solve? Because I think it's always quite helpful to start with that and work back to the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes people think that being a guest on a podcast is like this instant win. They get on the podcast,
Right.
all these flood of leads are going to come in, everyone's going to recognize them, know who they are. It's going to open up the floodgates of opportunities. But that is not the case. Um, I find that a lot of guests, unfortunately, are relying on the host to do all the heavy lifting, promote for them, showcase them in the right light, share their lead magnet.
Tick, tick, tick.
I mean, it helps, but it's not your ticket to winning. You know what I mean?
All right. This is getting very interesting. So we've all been told that you just get on a podcast show and
Yeah.
get the right host and the leads will flow in. And I can tell you from personal experience, when I first started doing this, I paid $3,000 to a very famous entrepreneur with a list of 1 million people with 1 billion downloads every month. And I got 3 inquiries. One didn't show up. One said no, and the other, no idea what happened to him. I think he might have bought, but and that was like the pinnacle of podcast guesting. So it doesn't work like that. And it's a breath of fresh air to have someone who's a specialist in this area paint a picture which is realistic.
Yeah.
Why? Question three is what are some of the symptoms that's going on in this this your ideal clients live, that would give them a bit of a heads up that they should find out more about what you've just said?
You bet. That is easy to answer. I First of all, it's sharing the host's links all the time. So everything that you're promoting about that show that you're guesting on is going to Apple or Spotify or the host website,
Right.
and it's not going to yours. Also, the host is choosing what clips to share.
Mm.
They're choosing what you said to share with the world and market and promote that piece. And all the branding that is out there for that episode is their branding and not yours, their call to actions and not yours. So by leaning on the host to do it all and only do it once, quite often guests just share one episode. I was a guest on this show, check it out, and then that's it. And everyone knows that something done once is not going to bring you the results. It has to be consistent and done more than once.
Right. So folks, this is the next step in the evolution of podcast guesting. And by podcast guesting, we mean you're a guest on someone else's show. I mean, this is gold, folks. I'm not doing this, and I'm listening very carefully because everything that Lyndsay is saying is resonating. She's just hitting the bullseye in everything she's saying. So, and Lyndsay, remind me again, I'm not getting an affiliate commission for this, am I?
No.
In other words, I'm doing this because this stuff is going to help you folks. It's not because I'm getting paid for it, because I'm not. You need to listen up to this. You need to get onto podcasts. But you can't just leave it at that. You got to do some of the stuff that Lyndsay's talking about. Let's go a step further, Lyndsay. We've got 2.75 minutes left. One top tip. Not going to solve the whole problem. Not going to give everyone the whole solution, but it might just take them a step in the right direction.
Yeah, two things. One is make sure that you're publishing it on your own website. So create a quote unquote blog post with the show notes, embed the video, do links to the hosts, but make sure that you're sharing it on your own website so that you have the call to actions on the sidebar. You have call to actions within the show notes. And the second is to ask for the raw video from the host so that you can use that to select the sound bites and nuggets, reels, all that good stuff, so that you're showcased in the way that you want to be showcased.
Two top tips. Thank you for that. And what a massive credibility builder when you've got a page on your website with you being interviewed by all of these experts. Wow. And folks, if you haven't done one of these yet, when you start, you will quickly develop 6, 12, 20, 50, 100, 200 interviews on there. That's a massive credibility builder.
Yeah.
And
because it opens up other opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And virtually hardly anyone else is doing it at this stage. In 10 years' time, it might be different. But now you've got this big opportunity. The field is wide open. So because a lot of people, when they think about purchasing from you, then they look to validate your credibility. And this may not open the door to the sale, but it gets them through that door. So let's tell folks where they can. Question 6: where can people go to find out more?
I have a great resource at leverageyourpodcast.com/guest, and it shows people how to repurpose and leverage their guest opportunities to get more leads and clients.
Yeah, no, this is nice. It's leverageyourpodcast.com/guest. Go get that. 45 seconds left, Lyndsay. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
I think what is the missing piece of what you need to repurpose from those episodes? And that would be Reels and YouTube Shorts. So again, get that video, create Reels and Shorts, because that gets you in front of a new audience of people that aren't already following you and listening.
Right. Perfect. Lyndsay Phillips, you're a breath of fresh air. And thank you so much for your insights, practical tips and strategies. Once again, folks, that URL, www.leverageyourpodcast.com/guest. That's where you'll find the free guide and checklist, 3 ways to leverage repurpose your podcast guest interviews to boost authority, visibility, leads, and sales. Lyndsay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.